Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Stephanie Bree, and today I'm talking about dreams and nightmares. And I'm not talking like hopes and dreams. I'm talking about when you go to sleep, those weird ass images you see in your brain. So, it's no secret that A Nightmare on Elm Street is my favorite movie of all time. But did you know the reason it's my favorite movie of all time is because it takes place in the dream world? And I am obsessed with dreams to an unhealthy point. Um, so when I was a kid, I had some pretty regular pattern nightmares. And when I say pattern nightmares, I had the same dream over and over again. So I did have repeated dreams. And I had dreams that weren't the exact same dream repeated, but it was like the same theme, like the same thing happening, just like with different people or things. And so I got in the habit of not sleeping very well. I'm pretty much an insomniac because my dreams are mostly nightmares. And I hated sleeping. I hated it with a fucking passion. So the only way I could fall asleep as a kid was to stay up playing Atari 2600 until 3 in the morning, until my brain just shut off and my body crashed, and then I could sleep for like 2 or 3 hours until it was time to get up and go to school and then sleep in math class, which my teacher hated, but they couldn't wake me up as hard as they tried. I just fucking ignored them. I was just like, leave me alone, I'm sleeping. Leave me the fuck alone. But I did read books on dreams, and I studied the art of lucid dreaming. And I started practicing this. And this, I got the idea for it watching A Nightmare on Elm Street 3, The Dream Warriors. And once I realized that you could take control of your dreams, I started going out of my way to try to do this. Now, here's where it gets complicated. And I'm not going to get into the personal trauma that I went through as a kid, but here's where it gets complicated. When I fall asleep, every night since I was like 6 years old, so even to this day, every night when I fall asleep, I find myself in the nightmare. And I am skilled enough at lucid dreaming that I can manipulate the things around me to get out of the nightmare into a happier dream. But I always start in a nightmare, and I have to first get to a point where I'm aware that I'm dreaming before I can begin lucid dreaming, because if you don't know you're dreaming, you can't take control. So you have to know you're dreaming before you can take control. Once you know it's only a dream and you can take control, then you slowly start, phasing through walls to get away from the monster so it can't chase you, and putting up brick walls behind you so that it can't, come after you. And then you dream up the sun, because the nightmare is always dark and scary, and chase away the clouds and the fogs and the thunderstorms. And then you get in a car and you fly off to the island in the sky where you're safe, and then you have your army of robot soldiers that protect you for the rest of the dream. But you have to remember to dream up the flying car. You have to remember how to fly the flying car. You have to remember how to fly to the island, which means you have to remember to dream up the island, which means you have to remember to dream up the army of robot soldiers. You have to kind of remember what they look like and how they function before you can get safe enough in the dream to go sit on the couch and play Sega Genesis for the rest of the dream. This is a lot of mental gymnastics, and believe it or not, it's actually exhausting. But I have to do this every night in order to get to a peaceful rest. The nightmare I have is usually a dark something. I'll say a dark force chasing me. And if the thing catches me, the first thing it does is it enslaves me and it locks me up in the basement, chains me to the wall, tortures me for a while, and then it goes to kill me, and either it succeeds, which it has, and I wake up like just bawling because I just died in my dream, and it's usually pretty vivid and it's a horrible death, or you realize you're dreaming, and that's when you can escape the monster and get away and go dream something else. So that's the nightmare I have most nights. The other nightmare I have, to most people, isn't going to sound like a nightmare, but to me it is because, it's traumatic. The nightmare I have most nights, the second one, which is usually like I get out of the scary nightmare, I wake up for a little bit, scroll Twitter, get tired enough to fall back asleep, and then round two starts. The round two nightmare is I'm back in this one town I will not name because I don't want you to find me. And once I get there, I'm back in high school, but I'm myself. So, like now, currently, like last night, I'm 41 years old, but I'm back in high school and I'm in math class or social studies or one of the hard classes. And I'm struggling with the homework assignment. And I usually interact with the other students and the teachers, and we do things, like we go to the gym and we set up a school dance, and we have a school dance in the middle of the dream because whatever, it's a dream. And then I realize I need to go home, so I get in my sports car because I always have a fancy sports car in my dream, and I drive home for lunch, and I play video games and listen to music, and then eat lunch, and then I drive back to school. And usually when I get back to school, I get back into the classroom and I realize I already have my GED. I already went to college. I've already worked in the business world. What the fuck am I doing back in high school? And I get up out of my chair, I walk out the front door, and then I walk into the fairy tale world. Once I get to the fairy tale world, the dream is happy. I have a happy night. Rest. Now, some nights I don't have enough time to sleep long enough to get to that point in the dream. So I usually wake up in the middle of the dream because the alarm goes off and I got to get my ass to work in a hurry. So, the fairy tale world. It's a mixture of Super Mario Land, the Care Bears Cloud World. There's some leprechauns and fairies, friendly fairies, not kidnapping kids, scary fairies. There's usually some Star Wars characters there. R2-D2's usually there. Darth Vader's usually there, but he's a cool guy. Sometimes Freddy Krueger's there playing chess with Jason because he's a cool dude. So sometimes I can get to the paradise in the dream, but it takes a lot of mental energy to do so because lucid dreaming is exhausting on your brain. You have to be conscious while you're unconscious, which is a paradox. And then there's the dream where I wake up from a bad dream and I'm in my bedroom and I get up, I take a shower, I get dressed, I eat breakfast, and I go to work and something will be off. Somebody from my past who is dead will be there and I'll be talking to them and I'll tell myself, wait a second, this person's dead. How can they be in my dream? And then it'll click, oh, I'm in a dream. I didn't really wake up. So I'll wake up again and I'm in my bed and I get up and I get dressed and, breakfast and everything. And I go to work, only this time it's a different job because I've had over 105 jobs in my life. I know, whatever. That's a video for another day. And I'll be at a different job and it'll feel right, It'll be like, oh yeah, this is my real job. That dream job wasn't right. And I'll be doing my real job. And again, something will catch my attention that's wrong. Maybe it's like somebody is watching a movie on a VHS tape and I'll go, wait a second. We don't have VHS anymore. We have Netflix. And then I realize I'm still dreaming. Or sometimes I'll see a dead dog from my past. One of my dog's ghosts will show up and I'll be like, hey, he's dead. And then I'll realize, oh shit, I'm still dreaming. Or it'll be something like, I don't know, something will be off. And I'll realize I'm still dreaming. And I'll wake up again. And this can repeat like multiple times, 6, 7, 8 times. The record for me is 8. I have woken up in my dream 8 different times to just be in another goddamn dream. This dream is less common, but it happens, and it's exhausting because you're constantly trying your hardest to wake up for real. And then you do. You finally open your eyes and you're like, shit. You touch the wall, you pet the cat, you grab the phone, and you're like, okay, I'm awake, for real awake. And then I look at the phone, and it's fucking 11:35 and I'm like, Jesus Christ, I just went to bed an hour ago. What the fuck? And then oh my God, it's the worst. That's the worst dream because it always happens like right after I fall asleep, but it feels like I've slept all night and I force myself awake and it's only been an hour. I hate that dream. I fucking hate it. And then there is the dream where I'm back at home with my parents and I'm the dude again. And I'll be, doing chores and I'll go to my room to play my video game. And I'll be like, no, I'm not him anymore. I'm Stephanie now. So I'll go to my closet and I'll put on a dress and do my hair and makeup. And I'll go out, out front. My dad will scold me for, being trans. And I'll be like, no, this is the real me. Deal with it. And then I'll go outside and I'll go find my friends or I'll go to the park or I'll go for a bike ride or whatever. I have that dream not every night, but most nights. And that's another one where once I realize I'm dreaming, I can take control and lucid dream again. The trick is knowing you're dreaming. And it usually takes something like looking at your cell phone and the screen being all fucked up, because it always is. Or just something being out of place. The toilet in the living room is out of place. There's no toilet in the living room. Why is there a toilet in the living room? Oh shit, I must have to pee. And then you wake up and go pee. And then you're like, oh shit. Good thing there was a toilet in the living room telling me I needed to pee. But it's always some weird thing that at first it's like, okay, you go with it. But then you take a second look and you're like, no, wait a second, that's wrong. So the trick is to spot the thing that's out of place. Once you spot the thing that's out of place, you can tell yourself, oh, cool, I'm dreaming. And then you have to say, okay, in my dreams, I'm God, so I want a unicorn. And then you imagine there's a unicorn. And then you hop on the unicorn and you fly to Narnia or whatever. But you have to have a vivid enough imagination to be able to dream up the stuff you want. And you have to have enough, you have to be self-aware enough to know you're dreaming and to be in control enough to be able to force the dream to do the things you want. Now, sometimes I'll lose control in the middle of a dream, and my trick to get control back is I'll pop up and I'll force myself awake, like real awake. Catch my breath, shake my head, focus on the thing I want to dream about, and go back to sleep and then be in that dream. So I am a skilled dreamer. I would call myself a skilled dreamer. Now that doesn't mean I'm always in control because like I said, until I'm aware that I'm dreaming, I have no control. I'm just going along with the dream. Some nights I never get self-aware because the dream is too powerful and I either don't spot what's wrong or I'm so fucking afraid for my life that I'm too busy running from the evil thing trying to get me that I don't have time to stop and catch my breath and realize I'm only dreaming. That happens a lot too. Dreams are fucking weird. I don't know. Leave a comment if you want. Tell me about your dreams. Do you have pattern nightmares? And if you do, how do you deal with it? Now, my doctor, my psychiatrist, did prescribe me a drug that it's not Hypnostil. It doesn't stop me from dreaming. But it stops me from having trauma dreams. So it doesn't suppress all my nightmares, but it does suppress the trauma nightmares. But I've been off my meds for 2 months, so the dreams have taken over.